dear champ, you're welcome to another class. Today we'll be looking at the topic, the use of a, and some. So you'll be learning how to use a, and some. Now remember that there are 26 letters in the English alphabet, right? From A to Z, 26 letters. And how many of those letters are vowels? 5. There are 5 letters, 5 vowel letters in the English alphabet. 5 of the letters in the English alphabet are vowels, and they are A, E, O, U. The 5 vowels are A, E, O, U, and the remaining 21 letters are consonants. Now, for the sake of this lesson, we're going to learn something new. Nouns. A noun is the name of a person, animal, place, thing, right? And nouns can be countable or uncountable. Now, what are countable nouns? As the name implies, countable nouns are nouns that we can count. Countable nouns are nouns that we can count. Now, the examples we're going to look at are apples. Now, apple is the name of a fruit. It's a thing, right? And you can count apples. So how many apples can you see on your screen? 3 apples, right? So you can say apple is a countable noun because you can count apples. 1, 2, 3 apples. And also cats. Cats are countable nouns because you can count cats. 1, 2, 3 cats. Now, nouns can also be uncountable. Uncountable nouns are nouns that we cannot count. Uncountable nouns are nouns that we cannot count. An example of uncountable nouns is flour. The flour we use for baking. Can you count this? Can you count flour? No, you cannot count flour. You cannot count flour. You cannot count sand, honey, milk. Those are uncountable nouns because we cannot count them. Now also, nouns can be singular. Nouns can be plural. Nouns can be singular. Nouns can be plural. Now, singular means one. Singular means one, like a cat, just one cat, a cat. And plural means more than one, cats. 1, 2, 3 cats, more than one cat, that's plural, cats. Now, let's look at the use of an. When is an used? When can we use an? We use an to introduce a singular noun. We use an to introduce a singular noun. That's just one, right? So we use an before a word that begins with a vowel sound. We use an before a word that begins with a vowel sound. And remember, the vowel sounds are a, e, or u, right? Now let's look at some examples. An apple. Apple begins with a vowel sound, right? An apple. So you don't say a apple. An apple. An ape. An ape. An ear. An egg. An ice cream. An injection. Now these words begin with vowel sounds. That's why we begin them with an ice cream, an injection, an orange. You don't say a orange. An orange. An ocean. An ocean. An umbrella. An umbrella. An usher. An usher. Now, when do we use a? When do we use a? We use a to introduce a singular noun. A is used to introduce a singular noun. Singular one, right? we use A before a word that begins with consonant sound. A is used to introduce words that begin with consonant sound. For example, these are the consonants of the English alphabet, right? B, K, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now these are the consonant sounds. Now we use A to introduce words that begin with consonant sounds. For example, a ball, a ball. So you don't say an ball, it's a ball. A bird, a cup, a cat, a doctor, a dog. Now can you see these words? They begin with a consonant sound, right? Now this consonant sound, D, D, a doctor, a dog, a fan, a fish, a guitar, a goat, a horse. You don't say an horse, a horse, a house, a jug, a jacket, a key. You don't say an key, a key, a kite, a lion, a ladder, a mug, a mouse, a nurse. So you don't say an nurse. Nurse begins with a consonant sound. A nurse, a notebook, a pencil, a pig, a queen, a quiz, a robot, a rainbow, a star, a spoon. Now also notice that these nouns are singular nouns, so we don't say a spoons or a stars. Singular word, a star, a spoon, a tap, a tiger, a van, a violin, a watch. So you don't say a watches. Singular noun, a watch, a well, a xylophone, a yogurt, a yarn, a zebra, and a zip. Now we already said that we use A to introduce words that begin with a consonant sound, and we also use A for singular nouns. Now when do we use some? We use some for plural countable nouns. We use some for plural countable nouns. Now remember, countable nouns are nouns that we can count, right? Then you use some for nouns that you can count. Plural countable nouns, that's more than one. We also use some for things we cannot count. You don't use some for singular countable nouns. You use some for plural countable nouns. Now let's look at some examples. Apples. Now apple is a countable noun, right? You can count apples. So for apples, plural, so you use some. So you don't say some apple one, you say some apples, some apples, some dresses. You can count dress, right? So you don't say some dress. If you want to say dress, you use a dress. But when you want to pluralize it, that's dresses, you use some dresses. Now sugar, you cannot count sugar, right? You cannot count sugar, granulated sugar. You can only count cubes of sugar, but granulated sugar, you can't count it. So for nouns you cannot count, you use some sugar, some milk, some teachers. You can count the teachers in your school, right? 1, 2, 3. teachers. So you use some. So you don't say some teacher when it's just one. You don't say some teacher. You use a teacher. But when there are more than one, some teachers. Some honey. You cannot count honey, right? You cannot count honey. Honey is an uncountable noun, right? So use some honey. We have now come to the end of the class. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.